Hi folks, so today we're going to finally finish the pivot table lab, and I just want to let you know that we have officially started our new unit, which is a normal curve unit. So I just want to show you a couple things. What I would like to show you is that our modules have kind of changed a little bit. We have a new module, which is the normal unit. It's right here, the first unit listed. So if you want to look at the PowerPoints for notes, if you want to see videos with information, we will later be using this. If you need to look at the book problems, you can go here. There's extra articles. Also, you can always find all of your textbook stuff by using the link right here. All right? Okay, so today what's going to happen is we want to finish this lab. So if you have the lab, you can open it unless, so it's in the calendar. Unless you're in period 6 or if you're having a really hard time working with that Olympic data set. So if you're having a problem with it, I've actually made a already formatted parts, kind of secondary parts of the lab, which says part 2 and 3. So if you are in period 6, I know we were having problems with this, you can open it and just work off of here, and then when it comes time to submit your work, you just can submit both part 1 from the part you've done before and then submit this file as well. So you can submit 2 files. If you're doing fine with formatting the Olympic data set, you don't have numbers going all the way down to like 100,000, then go ahead and use the file you already have. All right, so let's open this one. So what we have here is our formatted data set right here. And what we're going to be working on right now is just the second part, which is starting by part 8. You're going to sort it here. So you just highlight everything. Actually, the easiest way to do that is just to go right into the middle, Control Star, and you're going to be doing a 2-level sort. So you've got to come over here, custom sort, and then you just can do the first one by nationality. You add a level, and that second level would be by your total medals. It'd probably be most interesting to have the largest first. So you've got your data sorted. Next thing you're going to do is answer all the questions using the count functions. So ideally you've already answered these questions. If you haven't, go ahead and do that. And after that, I'd just like to show you quickly about the pivot tables. So you have that information. You can go back and look at this video as you go if you get stuck. But let me just show you. So you're going to make a pivot table. And I show you exactly what to put in this pivot table. So the first thing to make that pivot table, of course, is you highlight all your data, Control Star, and then you just go to Insert. And you click on Pivot Table, okay? And we already highlighted all, so it's all okay. All right, so now I have my pivot table. The thing I'm going to need to keep kind of doing is going back here and looking what I want to do. So my rows, I want the sport. All right, so right here for row, I click on sport. It might automatically fill it in here. If it doesn't, you can just manually move it to that spot. Then it says that for the values, okay, so this is going to be giving me my column information. I want gold, silver, bronze, and total. So here, it should automatically fill into there. If it doesn't, I'll manually move it there. Click on gold. Awesome, it did. And then silver, bronze, and totals. Okay, so now over here it's pretty cool because I can see all of this information about each event and then how many medals were given. If I want to see what medal gave the most, I can just, if I just click in here, so on sum of total medals, I want to have it in sorted in order, and I just right click and I click on sort, I can do largest to smallest, and boom, we can see that aquatics and athletics, which is track and field, and rowing, interestingly enough, and then football, have the most medals. Okay, so the next thing they want us to do is to put in a slicer. Now slicers are really cool. What this allows us to do is kind of answer tighter questions. So to insert a slicer, I'm just going to go to Analyze on the pivot table, and I just say Insert Slicer. And we asked for nationality. So this is going to allow me to answer a lot of interesting questions. So if I just want to see what's going on in Afghanistan, it tells me, okay, in Afghanistan we only have, they only competed in 2 areas and they got 0 medals. Okay, if I want to look at Australia, boom, I can see they've competed in a ton of places, and I can also see immediately where they got most of their medals. All right, Zambia, you can see that they've competed in 4 areas, 0 medals. Anyway, it makes it really interesting, the things that you can look at so quickly. It's such a quick way to number crunch and see your data. So now that I've done the slicer, I can now answer the questions right here for the first pivot table. So right here I ask you questions like how many medals did the USA win in equestrian? Using that slicer, you should be able to answer that. So you're going to use this method to answer all these questions, and once you've done that, you're going to go over here and it's going to ask you to make a second pivot table. So you can remove everything from that first pivot table that you had, and so clicking on here, I can just take everything out and I can just start again on my second pivot table, putting in the things that they ask right here and then answering the questions right down here. When you finish, what you're going to want to do, if you have time, is to go into sales data and sales questions. Here I did tell you how to make the first pivot table. To answer the second set of questions, you're going to need to kind of think, what should I put into the pivot table? Do I need a slicer or not? All right, I hope that goes well for you, and enjoy. All right, bye.